Hey there, Ravens fans. Tom Downey here. Before we get into the more injury news, because of course for the Ravens, who you got in Week 2? The Ravens hosting the Chiefs. Type BAL for Baltimore bounces back, or type KC for the Chiefs win yet again. This is Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Once again, I am your host, Tom Downey. The injury news and the hits and the problems just keep on coming for the Baltimore Ravens. The latest one, and this one is very concerning, Ronnie Stanley. The report from CBS's Jason La Canfora. I know, but it's been mentioned by others as well, that the Ravens are preparing to be without Ronnie Stanley for Week 2 and possibly for far longer as well. Stanley has missed the last 2 practices with an ankle issue. I believe it is the same one that he injured last year. If this is the case, if Stanley does miss more time for Baltimore, this would be yet another brutal break for the Ravens. Now, Stanley in Week 1 was not the same guy. He didn't look quite 100%, allowed 9 pressures, a massive figure for when 100%. One of the premier left tackles in the entire NFL. Now, if this ends up not being true and Stanley's able to go, great. Big deal there. He'll be lined up at left tackle. I'll put Ben Powers more on the guard stuff later on in this video because, well, they're hurt again because, of course, they are. If Stanley cannot go, Alejandro Villanueva, who was bad Week 1 at right tackle, would move over to his more natural position at left tackle, and Patrick McCarry would step up on the right side of the offensive line. The Ravens' injury issues are up there with any that I've seen in recent years. The Niners and the Cowboys were decimated by injuries last year. It's at that tier for the Ravens. It's a problem. So I am dead serious when I ask this question. Are the Ravens cursed? Because it kind of sort of feels like they are. Get your answers in for me in the comment section. Why for yes, they are, and for no, you're talking crazy, Tom, they are not. So more now on Villanueva, who the Ravens signed from the Steelers. He was a left tackle in Pittsburgh. A not as easy as Madden would make it seem, switch from left tackle to right tackle. Totally different footwork, technique, training, blah, blah, blah. Well, if Stanley does miss time, maybe Villanueva going back to left tackle would be the best thing for him because it was bad, guys. I mean, we all saw it. He looked just completely outmatched and I would almost say washed in Week 1. Allowed 2 sacks, 3 hits, 5 hurries. That's a massive figure against an admittedly good Raiders edge rushing group. The PFF run grade was at least better from that perspective. So, yay, that's better news there for the Ravens. Now, Villanueva, if he does move to left tackle amid the Ronnie Stanley injury concerns, Patrick McCarry, who's kind of like the Ravens' super sub offense, I'm going to play at center guard and then play tackle too. He would be the next man up with Andre Smith set to rejoin the team on the practice squad, who you don't want him out there, I promise you that much. So the Ravens' offensive line, folks, as I get to the gist of this here, is a major red flag. I am concerned, I don't know if you guys are, but I would think that's the case right now. That the Ravens, with all these offensive line issues, that's troubling. As dynamic as Lamar Jackson is, you don't want him to get pressured as often as he did in Week 1. So be honest with me in the comments section. What is your panic level right now over this Ravens offensive line? Scale of 1 to 10. 1 being you're not worried at all. It's going to be just fine. Maybe your head's buried in the sand, whatever. 10 being you are in full-fledged meltdown mode. Season's over already. Get your votes in for me in the comments section. If you guys want more Ravens videos, then subscribe. Hopefully we're able to do more for you guys in the coming weeks and months. And, of course, from the season all the way through the offseason as well. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe today. Let's move on with more injury news because it's just, I swear to God, they're cursed, man. Chris Westry, another corner injured for the Ravens. He has, according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, a torn lateral meniscus. Maybe this is season ending, maybe it's not. Regardless, he is now forced to go on injured reserve. And as we get into more in depth, the Ravens are now looking at outside options, and mentioned by ESPN's Jeremy Fowler was Buster Skrine. Now, Buster Skrine has bounced around the NFL. I have never liked him. I've never thought he's good. But you know what? When you're down to cornerback number 8 right now and you got to go to free agency, you're not going to find good options at corner. They simply do not exist. So Skrine, maybe they sign him regardless. There are not NFL teams uniquely equipped to handle the level of loss the Ravens have had at corner. Look at all these carrots. That little up arrow. Yeah, I mean, you've got Marlon Humphrey. Jimmy Smith is banged up. I don't know if he's going to be able to play week 2. Hopefully Tavon Young's healthy at nickel corner. Anthony Averett might start. But think about this, guys. Marcus Peters, Chris Westry, the aforementioned one, Amon Marshall, and Khalil Dorsey, all on IR. Maybe Westry comes back. The rest ain't. That's 4 corners, 3 of whom would have made your roster, and Westry, Peters, and Marshall. Now, the numbers wouldn't have added up, barring more injuries, but still, and you traded away Shaun Wade. So that's 4 guys of your top 8 who are out. There are not NFL teams really built to handle that amount of loss. So with that in mind, you got to look outside your organization. You got to go find some street free agents. That's just the reality and the necessity of the situation. So who do you want? Name a free agent corner that you guys want to sign. Get your votes in for me in the comments section. I was going to lead today's show with, hey, Devonta Freeman to the active roster. Then injuries, of course, just kept piling up for Baltimore because of course they are. The Ravens are adding Freeman to their active roster. Trenton Cannon out as RB3. Freeman steps in as the RB3, at least for the time being in Baltimore. Le'Veon Bell will stick on the practice squad again, at least for now. Freeman last year did not look like the same back. Now, the Ravens' run game is among the best in the NFL, and I actually think they should have ran it more against the Raiders. They were having some success on their inside runs. I would have preferred that, and I think Villanueva you can still run behind as well. So here's where things currently sit on the Ravens' depth chart. Again, your top 3 guys are on IR, or at least 3 of your top 4, in Edwards, Dobbins, and Hill. Tyson Williams is RB1 for now. Latavius Murray's RB2. Devonta Freeman now steps up as the 3rd back, and Lev Bell, at least for the time being, is hanging out on the practice squad for the Ravens. Week 1, look, Trent Cannon wasn't good. He was special teams guy more or less, so he's out. Latavius Murray, 10 carries, 28 yards, 1 touchdown. Tyson Williams, not a great pass protector. That's a big problem there for the Ravens, but when he got the ball, it was effective. I would like to see more Tyson Williams. I am intrigued by what he's able to do. Latavius Murray should get more comfortable as he gets more time again. He just signed. I forget what the joke was on I think it was the Manning broadcast of his key card still wasn't working to get into the facility. That's how new he was. The Ravens, in reality, have 4 options at the running back position, most of whom are best as, at least have been, lead backs in the NFL, or at least RB2s. So who should be RB1 for this organization? Type DF for Devonta Freeman. Type LB for Lev Bell. Type TW for Tyson Williams, or type in LM for Latavius Murray. We now go to the other big injury note. That's Tyree Phillips, who was a starter week 1 for the Ravens and seems like his season is over. He is going to head to IR. Only played 29 snaps. Kevin Zeitler is still the right guard for the Ravens. It now is a 2-man battle at left guard. The Bens, who did not win the job for week 1. There's Ben Powers out of Oklahoma. He will have the first, I think, crack to win that job. He didn't look great, an admittedly tough situation, so we'll see how that develops. But the Ravens also spent a premium pick on Ben Cleveland. He was inactive in week 1. I would wager all of my dollars on Cleveland being active in week 2. Does he start? I guess we'll wait and see on that front. So with that in mind, pick a Ben to start. Type P for you want to see Ben Powers, or type in C if you want to see Ben in Cleveland. I say no wrong answers. I kind of want to see Cleveland because I think there might be some more upside there. But get your votes in. Pick a Ben for me right now in the comments section.